For 8 years, the Nintendo Switch has been the scrappy little hybrid that could, turning blockbuster gaming into something from a backpack. But 2025 brings a brand new chapter. Welcome to Dynamic Trends. And today, we're diving deep into Digital Foundry's exhaustive teardown of the Nintendo Switch 2. Is it the perfect portable powerhouse? Or did Nintendo drop the ball where it matters most? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how the new silicon stacks up, why the screen is causing controversy, and whether this upgrade deserves a spot in your dock or your pocket. Let's power on. Nintendo partnered with Nvidia again, this time on a custom T239 system on chip. Think of it as Ampere DNA miniaturized for a handheld life. We get 8 ARM Cortex-A, 7 8-seek, 6 left 4 games. After the OS grabs, its share clocked at 998 MHz docked and a curious 1.1 GHz in handheld. Yes, faster in mobile mode. Why? Thermal headroom in the undocked shell actually lets the CPU stretch its legs, while the GPU stays conservative to save battery. Speaking of graphics, 1536 CUDA cores give the switch to real-time ray tracing and DLSS upscaling. Docked, the GPU hums along at 1 GHz. Undocked, it glides at 561 MHz. Pair that with 12 GB of LPDDR5X, 9 gigs of which are game-ready. And you're looking at 4 times the memory bandwidth of the original. But here's the shocker. Even on Samsung's older 8 to 10 nanometers process, the whole board sips just 22 watts at the wall in TV mode, and a coffee cup size 10 watts in handheld. Cyberpunk 2077 at sub 10 watts. Somebody call the efficiency police. Size matters, but thickness matters more. Nintendo stretched the chassis for a larger 8-inch panel yet kept the profile slim, avoiding Steam Deck bulk. Revised Joy-Cons slide onto discrete aluminum rails, feeling firmer than the launch models from 2017. On the underside, to tiny rubberized feet stop the console from scraping your coffee table. One of those "why wasn't that always there" refinements. Flip the console over, and you'll spot the biggest exterior upgrade. An honest-to-goodness Ethernet jack baked into the dock. No more USB dongles dangling like cyber chimes. Here's where the hype train hits a wobble. On paper, the switch to screen is bigger, brighter, and boasts HDR plus VRR. In practice, edge-lit LCD, 1080p, peaking at roughly 420 nits. That's barely bright enough to punch through summer glare, let alone deliver eye-popping HDR highlights. Digital Foundry measured motion blur that's brace yourself worse than the 2017 launch screen. Smear trails in fast racers, ghosting in side-scrollers, text halos in RPG menus. Stack it next to the 2021 Switch OLED, and the shortcomings glow like neon. Variable refresh rate sounds promising up to 120 Hz with low frame rate compensation, but real games tell a different story. Cyberpunk caps at 40 FPS for handheld. Drop a single frame, and the panel judders like a camcorder from 1993. Hitman's unlocked mode yo-yos between silky and stuttery. Until firmware ironouts arrive, you're better off selecting the old-school 30 FPS lock for stability. Is it playable? Absolutely. Is it premium in 2025? Not even close. And because the display hogs headlines, a killer portable feature, 1080p handheld rendering with DLSS doesn't get the spotlight it deserves. When you land in No Man's Sky at native or upscaled 1080p on a handheld, it feels almost surreal. Shame the panel can't fully celebrate that victory. Let's talk Wi-Fi. The first gen Switch was, let's be polite and say occasionally allergic to routers. Switch 2 blasts through those bottlenecks, 12 feet away, and a wall in between. Digital Foundry clocked 363 Mbps down versus 32 Mbps on the old. Plugging in Ethernet bumps it to 720 Mbps. Persona 4 Golden just over 9 gigs now lands in 7 minutes Wi-Fi, 5.5 wired. The same file took half an hour on the old model's wireless. Fast internet isn't just about downloads. It powers to headline features, Game Share and Game Chat. Game Share is Nintendo's answer to local couch co-op, without cutting the screen in half. Your Switch 2 renders a second video stream over the network to another Switch, turning one console into a mini cloud server. Brilliant on paper. In reality, that stream often looks like a 360p YouTube clip from 2008 macroblock mayhem whenever action gets hectic, and enough latency to turn competitive racers into bumper car bingo. On slower, less twitchy titles the idea works, think Animal Crossing gatherings or turn-based fare, but for high-speed hijinks, you'll wish for split screen after all. Then there's game chat, and here Nintendo nails it. Up to 4 players beam low latency video and crystal clear voice straight through the OS overlay. Nvidia's RTX voice tech shines crank loud music behind your mic, and the AI hushes it like magic. The camera even slices out your shoulders and plops just your head above your Mario Kart Doom buggy. Frame rate for the video tiles sits around 10 per second, yet that's enough to read expressions and trash talk. The real marvel, minimal overhead. In GPU-bound titles, frame rate hardly budges. In CPU-heavy Cyberpunk, there's a small dip, but Digital Foundry called it fleeting. Ad-dropping convenience, no smartphone app, no QR codes, just system-level hotkeys, and it's honestly the most social Nintendo experience since Wii Sports made Grandma Swing a virtual tennis racket. Hardware refinement continues with the Pro Controller. Tighter build, crisp face buttons, a dreamy D-pad, and non-intrusive rear paddles. Battery life. Think marathon, not sprint. If you game 3 hours a night, you'll hunt for the USB-C cable, maybe once a fortnight. One demerit, cable length. Both the console charger and the clamp-on camera ship with comically short leads. Swap them for longer third-party cords, and you're golden. Performance in docked mode lands, where analysts predicted a healthy mid-gen console vibe hovering between PS4 Pro and Xbox Series S. But in handheld mode, the Switch 2 punches above its power draw. Docked Cyberpunk runs at 1440p upscaled to 4K. Ray tracing dialed back, hovering near 40 to 60 FPS. Undocked, it targets 1080p, a 30 to 40 FPS, yet pulls less than most laptop chargers. Backwards compatibility sprinkles extra fairy dust. Older titles with dynamic resolution now pin their sliders at native 720, 1080p, while unstable 30 FPS caps lock solid. In some cases, Digital Foundry added a 3 GPU uplift, so your Switch 1 library only carries over, it levels up. No product's perfect, and the Switch 2's Achilles heel is glaring literally. The LCD's low contrast mutes HDR showcases, and the blurfest undermines the very motion Nintendo champions in 60 FPS games. Firmware could theoretically add overdrive profiles or refine VR windows, but hardware can only bend so far. On the software side, the new virtual game card interface feels like flipping through encyclopedia tabs with boxing gloves. Sorting 200 digital titles is slower than it was on a 2017 tablet. That's patchable, but it needs a patch. So, is the Nintendo Switch 2 the must-buy evolution of the hybrid dream? If display purity is your hill to die on, the answer is wait for a potential old revision. But if you value raw efficiency, DLSS-boosted visuals, friend-friendly game chat, and seriously upgraded online speeds all in a device that still fits in a messenger bag, the Switch 2 is a triumph with a caveat. It's the portable that plays Cyberpunk respectably on a flight, the docked console that sips 22 watts while your PS5 gulps 200, and the social machine that finally lets Mario Kart trash talk happen without juggling Discord. Digital Foundry calls it a proper generational upgrade. We call it the start of Nintendo's next 8-year adventure. Thanks for watching Dynamic Trends. Drop your thoughts below. Are you grabbing the Switch 2 or holding out for that elusive old? Either way, game on, and we'll see you in the next breakdown. Enjoyed the breakdown? Don't forget to subscribe to Dynamic Trends for more deep dive tech reviews, gaming insights, and the latest industry trends delivered straight to your feed. And hey, want to level up your Switch 2 setup? Check out 10 awesome Amazon products linked in the description below. From Pro controllers to screen protectors, we've got you covered. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the game.